Hey, it's John and Mike here at brew-dudes.com. We're actually here on the site, talking from Studio A.
Studio A.
Studio A. It's a wonderful thing. We got a question coming into the site. This guy has made the leap. He was brewing extract for a long time, but now he's got all the equipment to brew all grains. He has all these extract recipes. How does he convert those extract recipes to all grain recipe? This is a question for you, Michael, to explain. What are the things to keep in mind when you start converting your extract recipes to an all grain recipe?
Yeah, so the good news is that if you've been working strictly with light or extra light extract,
Okay.
I'd maybe even venture to say golden extract, but if you've been using really light extract and steeping your grains, the good news is it's pretty much just one-to-one conversion ready to go. You keep your steeping grains exactly the same as you did in your extract recipe and put those into your mash.
Okay.
And then you need to convert, you need to figure out how many points of gravity in your recipe your extract accounts for and convert that to pounds of base malt. And you also need to account for your efficiency in your system, because extract is 100% efficient because it's all converted already for you by the extract company.
Yep.
And you just need to account for it in pounds of grain and account for the fact that it'll probably be about 70–75%. The way to do that conversion is covered in a written post we have on working with PPG, or points per pound per gravity.
Okay. Cool. And what else? I mean, there's that issue with extra dark extract that you talk about. I mean, is there a way to sort of try to formulate the color? I mean, how do you...
Yeah, so the hardest part about dealing with extract is a lot of people get started with kits and that come with, say, 3 pounds of dark extract,
or amber,
or golden, or any weird combination. The problem is you don't really know what went in there. And in order to get those colors and those flavors, the malt company used specialty grains, but you don't have any idea. Is dark extract 5% roasted barley, or is it 10% roasted barley, or is it black patent, or is it a little bit of chocolate? So it can be pretty daunting. I think dark extract's probably the bigger nightmare. Amber extract might be a combination of a little chocolate, a little bit of crystal.
Yeah.
So the best thing you're going to have to do with that is get yourself a recipe calculator like Beersmith or Beer Tools, things like that. There are plenty of free ones online that you can use. Figure out how much base malt you need to maybe get to 85% of the total gravity.
Yep.
And then focus on using specialty malts for that 15 to 10% of the recipe. Really no more than that. And start playing with, let's say it's an amber extract, start playing with Crystal 40, Crystal 60, maybe just one at a time. How much Crystal 60 do I need to get to the same color that my amber extract is? If it turns out you're losing like 3 pounds of Crystal 60, well, that's obviously wrong.
Okay.
So maybe it's half a pound of Crystal 60. Half a pound of any specialty malt tends to be a magic number for most recipes, right?
Yeah.
So start with half a pound of chocolate malt or half a pound of crystal malt, and if you need to get a little bit darker, put in 2 ounces of roasted barley, or 2 ounces of whatever, and see where it gets you.
Right.
The problem with these colored extracts is you just really have no idea. And so it's really going to require you to probably brew a recipe 3, maybe 4 times to hone in on the flavor profile of colored malt extract in combination with whatever steeping grains you were using to get it right. And you may never get it right, but you can try and get really close, but you're not just going to do it the first try, so you shouldn't get discouraged.
Okay. So what about hops? How does that convert from extract?
The good thing about hops is it's pretty much one-to-one.
Okay.
If anything, in all grain, you tend to have a slightly bigger volume, so you do need to think about your extraction efficiency, your utilization of your hops. But the reality is, if you just go one-to-one with hops on your first few passes, you're probably going to be in great shape.
Okay.
I mean, focus on that malt to extract grain conversion. That's the toughest part of a recipe conversion.
I'm guessing yeast stays the same too.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point in your extract career, you're ready to jump into all grain. Hopefully at this point, one of the things we advocate is temperature control. Stay focused on temperature control. I like to say temperature control first and then yeast management later, but all that stuff stays the same.
Okay. And then lastly, of course, we're focused on water lately. How does water play into this conversion from extract to all grain?
Well, the interesting thing about water is that in malt extract, whether it's liquid or dry, you got to remember that the maltster, the malt extract company, used their home water to make the stuff, and then they condensed it down into an extract. Well, the water went away, but the minerals did not go away. So in theory, if the malt extract was being made in, say, Nebraska, and you live in Nebraska, and if the sulfate levels are 200 ppms, and you now dilute that out with Nebraska water, you're probably going to be at 400 ppm sulfate. So, so you got to think about that. The ideal setting where you're working with extract is to make your extract beers with distilled water or like really soft water.
Okay.
So, how do you handle that with your extracts, converting to all grain? Well, it's not so much a big issue because you are going to be doing all grain, but it is something to think about, that if the flavor doesn't taste right compared to what you had before to what you have once you make that all grain beer, you might have the color spot on, the malts might be right, but it still might not taste right because the chloride or the sulfate ratios are a little bit off. So it is something to keep in the back of your head. I wouldn't worry about it right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think it's a good rundown between, how do you convert an extract recipe to an all grain. So if you've made that leap, hopefully this video is helpful, and good luck in your brewing career as you convert all these recipes that you've grown up with and love, and you just want to make them in an all grain kind of way.
Yep.
So for John and Mike at brew-dudes.com, brew on.
Cheers.